Sorry, guys, the water is an absolute necessity for me right now. All right, we'll let everybody file in here, but just want to commend our team, our entire organization. It took everybody today after playing, our worst half of football all season long, trying to do everything really in our power to lose the football game. We came back in at halftime, and our team had a decision to make. Our coaches had a decision to make. I thought our captains, the way by the time our coaching staff, came out to our players and to give them the pseudo plan for the rest of the half, or for the second half, guys like Patrick Peterson, Kirk Cousins, Eric Kendricks, Adam Thielen, Brian O'Neill, C.J. Ham. Really, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but Dalvin Cook. That's who I heard. I heard our leadership telling our guys we've been here before. Maybe not that much. Maybe not the need for the largest comeback in the history of our league, but this team believes in each other, and we just had to go try to play good football. Regardless of score, we just had to try to play good football and just see if we could apply some pressure to our opponent before it was all said and done, and we were able to do that. So we set a goal to win this division at the very beginning of training camp. We have not talked about anything else besides winning the division. We knew how important that would be for our organization and our team. Now we've got to take this moment, both the things that we clearly need to correct early on in this football game, but see if we can harness the energy that it takes to set a record like that and compound that moving forward to have more complete performances, which is what this team is always on the strive to do. And I need to do a better job as the head coach demanding our standards, 4 quarters, to continue to give ourselves a chance to continue playing as long as they'll allow us to play this year. Giving you guys an injury update, Justin Jefferson, it was a rib chest contusion. He's feeling pretty good right now. He was able to obviously come back in the game and help contribute in a huge way to winning that football game. And I'm sure he'll be sore, but we'll keep you guys posted how he does. And then we just had 3 players cramping, Christian Darrisaw, Patrick Peterson, and KJ Osborne. Career day for KJ. Huge day for Christian Darrisaw to come back and be a major part of that. Being able to score like that in the second half, you need your offensive line to show up and handle their business, which against a really good front they were able to do. So with that, I'll open it up to you guys.
What does a win like this do for the mental shakeup of your team going forward?
Well, we've had a few that I think you can build on, and I don't think maybe we get it done today unless we had moments like Buffalo or Detroit or Washington, or I could list off a few. You guys know, and I just when you got the right kind of guys, and we'll continue to improve and stress the importance of individual offense, defense, special teams, group improvement, and then our team understanding how we can avoid setbacks like we had early on. We can list those. The list is very large from the things we did poorly in the first half. But I will never discount this team's ability to overcome and continue to play for each other. Sometimes the culture stuff gets challenged in our league, but you don't win a game like that without it. Now we got to continue to work and continue to improve to be the best possible football team we can be through the rest of the month of December, and now we know into January.
Yeah, so how do you wrap your head? The NFL is 103 years old. This is the greatest comeback ever, surpassing that Buffalo-Houston playoff game. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that?
Yeah, Chris, it's hard, man. It's hard. I really haven't at this point when you're trying to do something like that, and really offensively, we were, in a lot of cases creating things, in a lot of cases getting players, seeing what kind of looks we could attack to just kind of generate maybe some things we didn't talk about or practice, but our guys handling it. And how about our quarterback? You cannot win the football game the way we had to go win it without your quarterback playing at an incredibly high level, willing. We talked last week. I thought him and Justin tried to will us to win that football game last week. I think we just watched him do that, amongst the other phases of our football team when we had to have it.
How drained are you after a game like this?
I'm absolutely exhausted right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hot shower or cold beer?
All the above, man. All the above. No, it's just I cannot say enough about our fans. I mean, although I felt it and heard some of the, some of the rightly due displeasure with our team in the first half, the moment that we could get some enthusiasm back in this building. No matter how far-fetched it seemed that we would come back, our fans were right there, and you felt them. It was unbelievable. And then I don't know if I've heard a building like that, like we did in the end, and that energy is what has really pushed us all year. And when we needed them the most, they were at their best.
When did it move from far-fetched to this is happening in your mind?
I think when we were able to get the 2 scores and get it, then they get that field goal. But in my mind, I still thought 3 touchdowns and a 2-point, which we kind of knew we were going to need 5 touchdowns anyway. But then when they got that field goal, I just knew it was possible just because the momentum we were building weren't just for the plays and the success we were having. I thought there were other things off of some of the things we were able to do. Dalvin Cook in the pass game I thought was huge. That screen was a season-defining kind of play in that moment where you had to have it. I mean, Justin continuously going over the middle, making critical catches, willing to go attack the football, and I think we got to protect him a little bit better. It's great to get the flags, but just moving forward, us as coaches as well. It's not just anybody else out there, but he's too important to our league. It seems like a weekly occurrence at this point. But yeah, it was about that moment, Kev, and then it was just about kind of making sure that you look too big picture at any particular moment in that second half, and we're doing a disservice to reality still at that point.
So, as you said, you needed 5 touchdowns. I mean, I know that mathematically that's the case, but that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson, I'll never forget it as long as I live. I walked out to address the team before we went back out there, and I just overheard him walk over towards the offense, said, "We're going to get stops. You just need 5 touchdowns. That's nothing." And it was a nice little, moment for me to lead right in off of. And I said, "Pat, you're exactly right. That's what we needed at the time." And it was probably the most motivated I've been to kind of challenge our players, just so that they just knew, regardless of the outcome today, that first half was not good enough and will never be acceptable to have that kind of performance, regardless of the outcome today. And nobody's happier to be NFC North champions, and the way we earned it, I think it'll stick with a lot of us for a long time. But there's still a lot to go back and make sure that we rectify and continue to improve.
What does it take to get a roster full of guys in the headspace where when you say, "Hey, we only need 5 touchdowns," they believe it and they don't kind of just say, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, first and foremost, you got to believe it yourself, because I think the one thing in this league is if you're not authentic and real, those 53 guys in there will notice. But I've built that up with these guys over a long period of time, so they knew both at halftime and at the game, after the game. They know I mean every word I say to them, no matter what, in any moment, good or bad. I'm going to consistently be me every single day, because I just don't know any other way. And then I can trust that I've got the right guys here, and the leadership of our football team. Ben, I don't know if you can say enough about some of those guys throughout our season in the different moments. And I'm not just talking about those 8 captains. I'm talking about the 22-plus players that receive votes to be captains on our team.
Kevin, you talked about KJ a little bit, but for him, like the season he's had, maybe not getting balls sometimes, to have 10 catches, 157, and to kind of get you guys started with that first touchdown, what did that mean to see?
Yeah, I told KJ a few weeks back that his time was coming, regardless, just with how our offense is evolving and his value to us. I just knew it would happen, and I didn't necessarily envision it, maybe the scenario that played out today, but think back and some of those catches, some of those conversions, his willingness to catch, get north, the yards after catch. I mean, just critical plays for our team, and then people won't see some of the blocking that he did, helping spring some of those underneath completions. I thought he was great on the bubble game, something as little as catching and converting first downs, and with TJ and Adam out in front blocking for him, just little things execution-wise that our guys did that gave us a chance to extend the chance to win the football game, because that's all you're really looking for, is just eliminating the other team having a chance to put us away. And if they don't do that, our guys are going to continue to fight, and we're going to grind grind it out till they tell us there's no more ball left to play.
What you observed from the two Sullivan possible fumble returns for touchdowns that morning?
Yeah, I could feel why he was so frustrated. The first one, they just ruled forward, progress stopped, and when they do that, it doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with the call. It's out of my hands at that point. I cannot challenge that. And then I was able to challenge the other one and get that ball out and get that ball back. Some of those stops defensively we just kept on urging them to keep going at the football, see if we can change the game, which we thought we did at that one point, but unfortunately we didn't. And then Sully's one of those guys that just keeps battling. He's a veteran player, smart, tough, and you don't win a game like this and hold the team to 3 points in the second half without guys like Sully, gutting it out.
Coach, you had to hear all week about your defense and how bad they have been playing recently. What does it say for them to only give up one offensive touchdown today and kind of battle like they did?
Yeah, I didn't think we did anything to help them. So if we're going to, as a whole, sit back and overanalyze, I think, we need to analyze how poorly we did a job at supporting them today, both special teams and offense. So I'm really proud of our defense. You don't come back in a game like this and hold the team to 3 points. We had to be aggressive with some decision-making early on, gave them short fields, and they, even though we didn't help them, those guys never flinched. They never looked to the other phases of our offense or special teams. I thought Ed in the second half, really timely pressures, losing Pat P for some stretches there, and guys still tightening up. And, a lot of people had a hand in this one, but our defense, we don't get it done today without those guys.
If you tied this game,
yep, we would have won the division.
If at all, was that in your head in overtime?
It was very much in my head, and that's why that last time we got the ball, we started the drive out with a run, and we were able. All I wanted to see is, can we get a new set of downs? Can we very, not conservatively is the wrong word because I felt strongly about the calls, but can we eat some clock, but yet still have a mindset of when we get that first down? I trust Kirk wholeheartedly in those moments, and he made a couple of huge throws to flip the field, and then we had a chance to, even down to the very end, you're saying to yourself, should we, but I think there's moments where it says a lot about your confidence in your team, regardless of how any particular phase has been up until that point. I wanted to win this football game. I thought our team had earned the right to try to win the game, and how about Greg knocking it in from, 40? And no doubter, as soon as it hit his foot, I knew it was in.
So in the previous possession, I think you punted, it was like a 58 or 59-yard field goal.
Yeah, and that point in time with the clock being where it is, I thought our defense, like I said, had played well enough to maybe try to pin them and see if we could get the ball right back. It took a huge stop for those guys to do that. Maybe they drove the ball down the field a little bit on us, but our defense bowed up when they had to, and that was really another reason why, even at the clock being where it was and trying to be aggressive with my timeouts there, I just wanted to give our team a chance to completely grasp. It'll be nice to look back and say we won this football game. It would have been great to win the division with a tie, but there's nothing like winning it the way we did, setting a record and winning the football game.
Last two questions. Kevin, Kirk makes a couple throws into tight coverage there, I guess, when you're in your own territory in overtime. What's going through your mind when you see him kind of put the ball into tight spaces there? I guess how much is that him doing that, or how much is that you kind of telling him, hey, it's okay to be aggressive?
No, I mean, he knew. I don't have to say a whole lot. I'm trying to generate not so tight coverage with some of the things I'm calling, and I just thought that his poise, his demeanor, his accuracy when we needed it the most. I think back to some huge plays, Ben, that were not his first progression, second progression. The guys up front doing a great job giving him an extra click in critical moments to get backside to TJ on the 2-pointer, find that dagger to Adam there in that 2-minute drive late. That's 3 or 4 on the progression backside trying to high-low defenders, and this guy just knifes a beautiful throw to his guy, Adam, in that moment. But Kirk deserves a huge amount of credit for, like I said, willing our team, regardless of the plays that are called. That guy just keeps playing at a high level, and he was a huge part of us winning this game.
Last one. Is there any one moment, big or small, you think might be both cemented in your memory from this?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard for me to. There's so many in my mind, but I wouldn't want to sell any one particular area short. But I mean, you can just go back through and look at some of the plays offensively, defensively. That really changed the minute to minute, play to play. It felt like the narrative of this game was ultimately changing, and our guys just continued to apply pressure. We got a lot of things to fix, but ultimately I appreciate you guys very much. But this one will stick with me for a long time. I'm really proud of my football team and our coaching staff.